Well, hello, good people. Mark Bubbles here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Bruce Sports Report, as well as my son, Michael. Yeah.
I was close to home today, so it took me long to get back.
Well, cool beans. I'm sorry it's a little bit noisy in here, but I just wanted to do a video about my Inventables and kind of update where everything is in here. I worried about getting this piece of equipment because I was concerned about how much space it would take up. And so once I made the decision to finally buy the Inventables, it was, how am I going to fit this thing in here? And as I started doing the layouts and trying to work with it, ended up taking, as you can see, this whole section over here. I had to redesign my layout. I've got a lot of equipment that's in here, and the way it ended up working out, I'm a hell of a lot more productive in my workshop in things that I can do. Now, I haven't done like a whole kitchen or anything like that, or a bunch of cabinets, but right now I'm actually working on several different projects. I've got a person that's begging me to try and see if I can bring this car back to life, and I'm working on that. You can see over here, I'm learning on the Inventable. This is actually one of the creations that I've made. It's a butcher block on one side, and it's a serving piece on the other. This, of course, is my logo. We ended up epoxying it last night. It's still curing, but we went through, we carved it out, we painted it, and then we put it in here. I think this is absolutely stunning. But what's ending up working out really good for me is the way that we ended up designing these. Basically, I took my table saw, which is right here, and used that as an extension for the Inventable. See, I can put a whole sheet of plywood on here and it's got the support behind it. But when I don't need to, I can still cross-cut 26 inches wide of space. I also here have my joiner that's right here, so I have it nice and tight up underneath it. Right there. And even have my 15-inch planer up underneath here. So it's crazy. It's crazy that I have this piece of equipment. It's the 4x4. It's their big unit in here, and the things that I've been able to do. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it to cut out kitchen cabinets production-wise. We ended up cutting out one of the footballs the other day. The amount of time that it takes, I'm not sure that that's going to be the things that I really will use it for. Although, when you're doing precise pieces and pieces of furniture, I probably will do more of that. My workshop is going to be a hybrid of both, where I can basically go through and I can put my logo on things, or if I'm doing custom sign work, or things that I'm not capable of, like this. This is going to open up more pathways and things that I can do without stopping what I was actually doing before. So if you're actually going around my workshop here, I've done some things that make it a little easier. I actually used carpet padding as padding to go on here on this work surface, because this is actually the extension table for the table saw, but it also doubles as a workbench. A workbench that I even have a roll of craft paper. So if I'm standing or painting or doing something like that, I can roll that across and it'll keep it from messing it up. Over here, this is actually pretty cool. I'm still learning on how to use this stuff. This is a picture of my parents in high school. They've been married for 65 years. So yesterday, I started doing this piece of them. The mistake I made was I didn't go deep enough. Now you can see my dad and stuff on there. I only went down 1/4 inch deep. Actually redoing it where I'm going to go down 5/8 so you get more of the detail and stuff in here. But you can kind of, well, tell you what. Here's what we'll do. Like magic, we'll pull this off. I put the plastic on here so when you paint it, with the nice crisp lines. The only thing is, it's not deep enough to get all the details of my mom's dress and things. And so you lose a bunch of them. Oh, I got it. There we go. So I'm recutting it to go deeper. Now, all of these pieces need to be, the plastic needs to be pulled off of that. But you can kind of see, let's see, you can kind of see the detail of my mother right there. And that comes out really, really cool. Or with my logo here. And all I have to do is go through and put a chamfer edge on that and touch up the paint on the sides. And that's going to be on the door of the workshop here. So it's a lot of really cool things that you can do. And I'm going to be getting back into doing a lot of stuff. So the thing I can't wait to try and do, and I don't know if people do this on there or not, but I have a dresser, some furniture I've made. And this is a piece of the molding. So this is actually 3 pieces of wood that I put together originally when I made this about 15 years ago. This is, you can see, this piece of 3/4 was laminated to this piece of 3/4 with this piece. And then I actually cut this on the table saw going at an angle, like a 1/16 of an inch at a pass. Then I had to sand it and then attach this piece on top of it for that detail. So I need 4-foot sections of this. I need 4 pieces of that to do the dresser that I want over there. I'm going to try and learn and see if I can make this profile on that machine. Now the good thing is having the bigger machine, it's 4-foot capable, but it also has the tiling feature. I haven't done anything yet big. I've only done small stuff. But with the tiling feature, you can go as long as you want to go. So technically, I could laminate enough of this up, go 8-foot sections, put it in the machine, and be able to tile it to do 8-foot sections of molding. If it does this and can create different profiles, that's a game changer, because a lot of times I go through these antique houses and trying to find molding that matches, you have to get it custom made for pieces. And it gets to be rather expensive. Shop time for somebody else to do something like this would literally be about $100 an hour. So for me to try and get somebody else to produce this would cost me several hundreds of dollars. It'll take me a lot of time to make it myself by the way I normally would. It may only be a couple hours with this machine. So it could be a great cost saving. And the way my workshop is working with it, it doesn't stop me. If anything else, it makes me more productive, because that goes ahead, does its thing, and even with the dust collection setup, I could plane my boards over here without a problem and not be in the way, or use my radial arm saw or anything in the shop, and it's fun. It's cool. I've done a couple things too. A couple things that I've done that have made it a little bit different than the original. They have the arm with an 1.25 inch suction hose on it that you can hook to a vacuum. Don't really want to use a shop vacuum because it's a lot noisier than the dust collector. And when you think about using that for 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, I don't think it's going to last. It's better off using that 3 horsepower dust collector. But I actually took the hose and I mounted it up in the ceiling so it can just hang down. It works great. No matter where that goes in here, it sucks up really well. The other thing is, on the other side, I built onto the table basically a place for the computer to go. So that way the computer can sit right there, you can work at it right there where you start the unit up and everything, you can see everything, but it also folds down so that way if you're not using it, it's out of the way. You can put the computer away. I also, underneath the cabinet, built a space for the CPU to go in, so that way it will be able to be out of the way, it can breathe, it's open on both ends, but all of the wiring goes to that back corner and connects it, which makes it seamless. There's no wires that are tripping across, and I even put an outlet onto the cabinet, so that way everything is plugged in there. There's no outlets anywhere in there. The feed just comes down the dust collection hose and takes care of it. So all those things have made it so it's seamless to be able to walk all the way around and use it. And I'm really ecstatic about the things that we're doing. I mean, I can see my parents in there. I can truly see them. And once I go through and pull off all of this, I'll keep this one as well. But it's amazing what the Inventable has done. Let me say, shout out to Inventables. If you are thinking about investing in them, I don't know about any of the other ones at all, so I'm not trying to steer you one way or another. A CNC machine is freaking incredible. What I will say is this, and this is the thing I always try and do whenever I buy something in my workshop, is if you can't get a really good piece of equipment, you can't afford it, don't just go out and buy something just to say, I got one. Because what I have found out more times than not is I'll go out and I will buy a piece and I'll say, I'm just going to get this one and it'll do fine. If it doesn't have enough power to do the job, or can't do all the things that you want it to do, you're going to replace it. It's either going to break down because it's not built well, it's not going to have the capabilities that you need, and you're going to end up upgrading, or it's just not a good piece. I originally bought a 1 horsepower shaper. It was good. Delta, it's a good chunk of change. But within a year, I ended up buying a 3 horsepower one because I needed more power. So I was on the fence on buying a machine that was smaller, cheaper, just a little benchtop unit. I am so happy that I went ahead and got the big unit, because I can put a whole 4x4 sheet of plywood or a 4x8 sheet in here, and if I go to AMN Supply and get a 4x12, I could actually run it through that machine and do anything that I want out of it. So the capabilities are worth the extra money that you put into it. And when you buy a tool like this, or any major tool for a workshop, you're not buying it for a year or two. You're hopefully buying it so you only buy it once. Most of the tools that are in here, including this table saw, have been with me forever. I bought this table saw when he was 1 year old. Same thing with the drill press over there. I buy for the long haul. Well, I'm going to get back to work here because I got lots of stuff to do. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys watching what we're doing up in here.